right, folks, let's get to it. Welcome back on Tuesday. What's happening? Come on in. Getting started a couple of minutes late, but that's how we roll. Usually 12:30 Tuesday, Thursday, and then we'll go for an hour. It's summer, but twice a week is good enough for me. We could do more. I probably should do more. But that's good for now. Listen, everyone else that's new, especially new folks, get with the software. We're working with Harmonic Pattern Collection. Get the 2-week free trial. Send your trading username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. And then we send you a resource email to dig into, plenty of material for the first few weeks, and then follow up and subscribe. That's how we do it. It's the easiest way to get it all done, because you either get the levels or you don't. Let's get some levels. Let's do a summer deep dive on NASDAQ, Bitcoin, S&P 500. Where are we? We looked at a bunch of this last week, and we are, still in this progression, higher, new highs. What really can we take away from the immediate violation of all-time new highs just a few days ago? No sell-off. No real resistance up here. No one, looking to jump out of the window at all-time new highs. If anything, just a slow build. That's really good. So we'll get to those individual stocks. What's up, Incredible? We can look at BBAI. Sound HI, SoundHound is another one. We've talked about those. We can get into those tech, some of the quantum stocks. It's not just all crypto, kids. And again, get into the promised land. It's going to be stocks. All right, we're still going to do crypto. We're still going to do Bitcoin because that's a part of the whole plan. But right now, as we get to this final phase, which is we're getting there, we're going to top out. This isn't, this will continue, but we're pretty close to some larger objectives for now. We've talked about 23.6 on NASDAQ. That's the top end, and I'm going to stick with that. We're 22.9 to 22.917 currently. Well done. We're up what? 33 currently. Not a big thing. Yesterday we were down. We're up here though, looking at what's going to happen at the 50 level. We've had a little retracement. So let's watch that. And then the finer piece of whether or not we've got anything significant is the lower indicator. Let me make that nice and bright. There you go. Amplified RSI. That's nowhere really. Not yet. Not ready to roll down. That indicator still up, and it's been above the 50 since April. That's trend continuation. You don't have to worry about that in any large sense until that would break down under the 50 level. You'd have to do something like this and then get under the 50, under that box, if you were going to expect something more than a 2-3% pullback. What's going on, Greg? Welcome to the show. Yeah, it's turnaround Tuesday, I guess. Or just, another continuation bull market week. That's really what we're getting at here. We've been at the retest. We had the big initial test. We were in front of that. You go back here, big butterfly on the weekly. Same thing with the S&P 500. Now there's the retest. No confirmation, no price action. Where could that happen? Because the weekly chart is the one to be following. Looks like this. We're up here. And so you're fine. You're still assuming higher prices until that rolls out. And if anything, the one real distinct event that could happen is if price continues to push up from here and then sends the indicator back into the extreme. We are kind of flashing to try to get out here. It's early. It's real early. Okay, so we're still up on this big retest. 23.6 is the big number. I was saying 23.1. That was the target from last month, 23.1. I'll stretch it out a little bit higher, 23.6, and then, beyond that, much bigger possibilities. Probably later in the year. And I like those larger possibilities to come true. Within the relatively near term, decent kind of 6-month, 12-month time frame. Nothing crazy here, but looking for, if I'm right about this, and I'm right on the fact that we are in a new uptrend channel, forget that it's a type 2. Let's just take what it is from here. Okay, we're at getting to the big targets, big maximum initial targets on this retest all-time highs. All right, but we know above this, it's just a 1618 price discovery move. That's what this whole breakout signifies. It's like that, and then a 1618 breakout move. That's the assumption here. That's 26. I think it's like 26.5, 26.6. There you go. It's 26.7, something like that. That's the assumption here. So within that uptrend channel, if that's the case, and we're going to maintain this, can I get even a short-term pullback? I mean, that's would be the summer scenario, maybe like last August, maybe not as extreme, but get something like this and then send it for the final leg. And that's a January target. But I just, that's the underlying acceleration play. That's tech, that's big tech, semiconductors, you guys know. Semiconductors been way in front of that, and it continues to lead. I'm impressed with NVIDIA. You got to like it. I mean, NVIDIA is a fat finger long. 158, 156, 160, 162. Because you're looking NVIDIA 190, 195. Yep. We'll get to those. We'll get to Wolf. We'll get to your Bit Digital. Congratulations. What's up, Daniel? Daniel's saying a lot of dividends paying stocks look like they're bottoming. Probably, as long as they're trending, I mean, there's some definite turnaround plays. And then there's just a lot of old school stocks that look good, but they haven't done anything in 4 years. Nike, Johnson & Johnson, but they're probably great ideas. Other stuff, what's up, Nico? Wants to look at Wolf. We can do that. Yeah, the miners are they're having their 3 weeks. We'll get into those. Let me quick go through S&P. Yeah, we'll talk about Bitcoin in a second, guys. Definitely. Nothing has changed on Bitcoin either. Just the straight read is still sideways consolidation with now new bearish confirmation. Before we do that, let's get to the stocks, because this is the one to watch. And again, look how strong this chart is since the April low. I mean, that is phenomenal. That's a monster move, and we're almost at the 6,000 level. It's like 60. What is it? The hop level here is 6145. And semiconductors are on the way to doing a major breakout. And I mean, that's just super impressive. And you see it in the stocks. And they're going to continue. I mean, that's what's leading tech. There are other areas that look good, but the semiconductors have woken up. True. AMD, sure. AMD's like this. You got to be looking at AMD for a pullback, maybe the next 4 hour oversold, which you have right now. And this is, it's interesting because AMD, we waited on it for the first 3 months and it just kept dropping. We were looking at 127 and then 115 and then 90. And it finally fell down to 75. I mean, we didn't touch it until really after 75, and it came back up, mostly because of the weekly targets were hit. The objectives, $80 was the bat pattern. It is a type 1, so we got to watch it. The larger move probably comes after a correction of this target 1. But you are looking at AMD as something that's like, has long-term trend considerations that eventually goes to all-time new highs. From there are better, more actively trending semiconductors. Taiwan Semi, guys, that's been a long of mine since April. And it's just, short-handedly to all-time new highs. Okay, we were hitting that like 170, 160. Yeah, it had a massive flash crash down to 140, but then it was right back. And now 230. And I'm just going to stay with that. Stay with this because it's a cycle breakout. Go to 1618. Couple more. Yeah, we can look at those. Intel is definitely interesting now with today's move. Is this finally going to get off the floor? I still say, and I'm long this, and I'm just sitting in there waiting for this thing to come back, pay me back. Haven't touched it. I've been fine with it. I knew this was going to take a long time. If you're new to that, yeah, that might be a consideration because you're right off the monthly hop level, $20. You're trying to get to 41. But again, I got to say there are better plays. KLAC, all-time new highs. Guys, remember we were talking about KLAC for months at this 690 as low as 630 level. Now 925. That's what's going on. One or two more in that same area. Micron. Wow. Micron's really, they took that out. And look, it was a crab pattern at 65. It was a 1618 throwdown from September. Pretty amazing. And that too was really, 155 to $60. It's kind of like an AMD correction, but again, still on multi-year uptrend. It survived. April was the huge test. So think of it that way. A lot of these were extremely beaten up. Beginning of the year, they looked like they were just going to keep sinking. They washed them out, and then that was it. And you're back on the long-term uptrend. But I still think things like Broadcom and NVIDIA are going to get you where you need to go. I mean, here's Broadcom. 275, guys. I mean, it's all-time new highs. It looks like an insane chart, I know. Where do you look for opportunities? I mean, you've got to wait for the next sell-off like we had here or even here. April was an amazing bat pattern. Yeah, we're not going to get a bat pattern anytime soon, but you're looking for micro pullbacks, maybe even on the hourly chart. Yeah, here you go. Hourly's been just every one has worked out because what's happening on the longer term trend. There you go. What was that? That was a week ago, 10 days ago. 260, now 275. There, 247, and then 242. You get the picture? 227. It just stair stepping all the way up. At this point, I'm going to just say get them on your screen, set an alert, and then just wait for it. But get it. Here's ASML, same deal. This one does have a current hourly oversold reading around 790. And if you're just recall from what we talked about all last year, big shark pattern at 600, 625. And we're still not at target one. I think that's like 845, 850. Pretty easy on this recovery move. A lot going on. I mean, really, there's just a lot of this is in an ideal situation, pointing in the right direction. Like all of this, your 50s are your 50 amplified, 50 HSI, continuing to expand in the overbought on a weekly. So that's, you easily could ride that to target right now. That should follow through the next 3 weeks. Oh, what's that? Earnings next week. That's the other side of this. Earnings coming up. Earnings are definitely gonna set pace. What's up, Francisco? He's asking, where's the entry point? At the XA level or somewhere else? Well, I mean, again, Francisco, definitely shoot me an email or send me a note on the Discord. I'll send you an email for resources. Okay, because what we're looking for is the pattern with the levels as the framework of where to get into, what target expectation, what are tolerance limits, and then looking for confirmation inside of that. Again, all the resource material that you get in that email with the software, or if you want to check it out, go to the Discord. I'll pop that link here in the chat in a second. Yeah. I get that, especially for new folks. Where do you hit the trade? Because it's easy to get into something early and then have it go against you and then absolutely skyrocket. We saw that with the likes of, well, Tesla. Someone's asking about Tesla. And Tesla, we've got another opportunity coming. All right. Remember the daily here? Back in April? Had the bat pattern. And this is a good quick review, but, where's the opportunity? Here was Tesla, 267 was the pattern level. But where's the first confirmation and anything we're looking at? Doesn't come in until about 258. So you start looking at 258. What does it do? It blows through. Goes deeper in the zone. Maybe you need to look for a secondary confirmation. I got in on this a little bit early. I rode through all of that. And that happens especially when you are early. But you're trying to pinpoint the zone with confirmation and use the confirmation, these yellow dots, as the optimal area within the zone. Yes, you take out the hop. Usually that is the stop loss level or just beyond there. For Tesla right now, guys, I'm still waiting for the 267 retest. And I think we'll get it because, look, this was a little bit drawn out on the type 1, but we hit target 1. We formed the dot. We were done. That tells us a lot about the whole pattern itself and the likelihood of needing to come back and retest 267. Even if we were to retest that green arrow, which is our first sign of bullish anything, and that's at like 284, that would need to be retested. So I'm still looking for this return move. Come and retest that. This will be a good one to follow there, Francisco, because we have everything that we want to see for a major setup, completion, type 2, reversal off of this bat for what I would think is the last consolidation before the larger weekly trend resumes and goes much higher. Off of that pattern, you're looking from 267, maybe 10 points lower, maybe 255, something like that, ballparking it to go to 400. Because it's a type 2 retest. There's a couple things we're just recognizing implicit with the type 2, it's a pattern, it's setting up with some confirmation. But that number is 267 first. Couple more. Yeah, Terrence, what's up, Terrence? Go here. A couple people asking. Go send your TradingView username to HPC at sr-analyst.com. I'm going to put that in there so that you guys just take the 2 weeks. If you want 3 weeks, just say, hey, can you give me 3 weeks for now? Okay, that's really where we're at with all of this. And then let's do this. First person to type in HPC 30 will give you a 30-day software and website package. You come in, even though we're summer hours here this summer, come check out the Discord. HPC 30. Get with that and look at all the materials. Again, here, after getting the software, go and become a basic member and peruse all of the free material. Okay? Basic members page. What's up? Han Solo, you win HPC 30. Han, you got to send me your full name, your TradingView username, and your email address. DM me on Discord. You got it? And everybody else that's interested, just DM me. You guys know I'll set you up. We've had a few questions like that, but that's okay. I'll take those questions. Good to review it every now and then, especially within the context of something we're looking at immediately. You guys know that I like the setup with Tesla. It has the daily dynamics we want to see coming into the last kind of retest, in my opinion, and the weekly, monthly trends are still intact. And that's really what we should see with stocks like this and AMD. Their individual bear markets should be coming to an end. Even if they don't do anything spectacularly, even these laggards should get more love, more allocation as the markets continue to go to new highs. Still, I favor NVIDIA and Broadcom. But I do think longer term potential for Tesla to be something that's more like a permanent low in the making, where you never see under 300 again. Yeah, I think that's something you got to consider here in the next year, 2 years. Apple's the same deal, but it's not going to give it up. Apple is just another one. I talked about this last week where you're almost done with this 6 month, 8 month retracement. What was that? Yeah, it's December. Apple's been down for 7 months, and that's almost over. I mean, notwithstanding April, we're finally going to break out, and you're in this direction. Okay, you're currently 210. We do have a pattern there at 185, and I've been waiting for it. I don't know if it's going to come in. So I'm watching it closely because you're down around 200, 210, 205, whatever. However this gets resolved, I don't think it's going to spend more than even another 2-3 months down here. So if we got 185, that's like Tesla 267. And then you just go. Yeah. What's up, Loot? Do I ever front run patterns to complete with the software? Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I see what you're saying. He's saying, do you ever play a pattern into the zone if it fails? If you've got like a NASDAQ futures, something short term, where you get a counter HSI, something like, let's see if we find one. Need a counter signal. Yeah, if I'll find something. I know what the question is. I think the larger take is you're using the pattern no matter what for the framework of levels with the 1-2 understanding. type like here's a crab 30-second this morning. It did a massive type 1. It topped out with confirmation, started rolling over. I mean, you might not know all the way up here that it's got a retest, but if you're just assuming 1, 2, if you know that's a 1, and most likely this pattern needs to be retested, it's something like that, and you're up here playing it down into the zone. Yeah, that's if you've got other things, is probably the best answer to that. But just understanding the basic pattern levels and the 1, 2 dynamic. Even if it looks like that, type 1, back for the 2. That's how we treat everyone. It's summer, guys. Look, you're going to get some pre-market moves, and it'll settle out, and then maybe you get a 3 p.m. move. For today, look, Nasdaq's like this. We did have a really quick 1, 2. 70 up to 32, all the way back down for the type 2. No confirmation anywhere in sight. So that's not an easy, it's just not easy. I mean, I prefer to have like a really clean dot confirmation than this. Probably would have not taken these. Where's this? I mean, I know I didn't take any of these, but without confirmation, it's should have had a dot down here. Let me quick look at S&P really on the ES. I want to start doing this more, bring it into what we do, only if we have something, some kind of setup. 30-second, the 5-minute is like this. I'm always coming in. What's the last 5-minute HSI dot? It's there. And so here's kind of a follow-up to that question. Do I play a trade into the zone? I would make the assumption that it's something like that you're 62.71, come back, retest that again. Certainly no bullish confirmation there to tell me, hey, this is going to bounce anytime soon. Remember, summer afternoon, people take vacations. I will certainly be taking a vacation at the end of the month. I'll do probably one show, probably take off one day. I'll still make time, but I myself am, if we don't have a good day, go take the time off now. I still say this is all about stocks. This market is just ripe for lining up stocks. What's up? SoFi? Sure. What's ASAN? I'll look at SoFi in a second. Asana? I've heard of that. Why? Asana on a weekly. Oh, that's nice. Didn't we look at this last week? I think we did. I told you guys to take a picture of this. That's about as smooth as you want to see. What's the volume on that? That's pretty good. Beautiful type 2 bat pattern. I like that. Yeah, I mean it's just expanding up in that overbought zone. $13 is definitely that XA level was it. And it's look, there's a type 1 to target 1. Come back versus the type 2. There's your yellow dot. As soon as you print that yellow dot, you're looking there. 13 to 21.59. Yeah, that's great. I'll show you the one. I mentioned this for the last month, guys. SoundHound AI shark pattern. It was like $9 to $10 the whole time, and it's finally having its day. SoundHound. Somebody said BBAI. I guess, yeah, I did hear that was running. And so we talked about this last week. That's why. Great that they're running. I can't do anything yet. I'd have to let them come back on like a 4-hour. Check out QuantumScape, guys. Some of those quantum stocks. QS. Remember I made the mistake. I said, first I was looking at QSI, and then I was like, no, oh wait, that wasn't the right one. It was QS, and so QS has done a sizable move here. Now we're going to see if this is going to be like D-Wave or quantum computing, but watch this above 8 after today. It would really have to get above 970, $10. Couple more. I hear you. Tariff FUD tomorrow. Is that really what's happening? Probably. It gives you a reason to sell. Look at SoFi at $20. Wow. Okay. Man, I had a bunch of that back here. Was it 2023? I kind of gave up on it. Gave up on it way early. Let me see what was down here. It was something here. Yeah, I think I was down here. And it went up and came back down and did nothing. And then that's when it started to go at 5. Now 20. But that stuff takes time. I guess, SoFi's been on the list. Like ASTS, it can't really do anything. If anything, 21 should be it for now. Let it come back. There are others that are in a great spot. Individual issues like Solar Edge. That was 12. It went to 24. But remember, it got crushed. So that could be like the first kind of thrust of the bat pattern here. The number is 19. It's currently 24, 25. But if you're looking for big turnarounds like that, that's one of them. Yeah. A couple more. ANF. ANF down here. Is that a bat? It's a butterfly. Not. I prefer Urban Outfitters over that. I mean, that's been a great play, but it's probably back at like 78. Can't get out of the zone. Can't get above 90. That's a problem. Let it reset like 75 or $80. Let it retest that. Urban Outfitters, I just think this is going to go to 100. I mean, it's going to take time. It's like a 3-year deal, but we've got this high level daily HSI at 68, 69. I'm looking at that. Can we let that be a continuation? And I said it's because of this. Massive bullish engulfing 2 months ago. On its way for 1618 is like, I think it's like 80 or something. And then eventual 2618 is 120. But even short term, you're still up. Yeah, until about 78 or $80. Like that. A few more. What's up, Chase? I don't know. What is S? Sentinel 1? I think there's too many quality trending stocks. All right, weekly is pretty good. Not bad. I think you could be like a quantum, though. And that's the problem with a lot of these low floater type patterns. You could be 15 to 17 or 18 for a long time before that does anything. But I hear you. Couple more. What's TASI? Is that the Tata Conservancy thing? Or no, that's the... Oh, I got you. It's the Saudi index. Sorry, I got that wrong with Tata. Yeah, didn't you send me this? You sent this to me. I saw it. I wasn't able to respond. Type 1, deep crab. That's a daily. What about the weekly? What's going on over there? Well, there's a nice Gartley. Really nice on the weekly. And it's a type 2. Wow. You guys see this? This is the Saudi index. That's pretty interesting. I'll, I'd say it's got work to do, but you're looking for target two. Get to 12,000 on this move, on this move, on this move. Longer term, I haven't looked at this in a long time. Yeah, I did think there was. Check this out. Boy, this is a lot like S&P 500. Isn't that interesting? This is the Saudi monthly index going back like 15 years. There's the all-time chart. Amazing. 2008. Eventually, you got to think this puppy gets back to the 886 all-time, like 18K. I think it's probably from here at 10.6. 10.6, and you just continue that. All right, while we're there, we haven't looked at crude oil. Crude oil is like this. Monthly yellow dot, 68 bucks, 68.72. Yeah, I think it should be lower. I think this chart's just grinding lower. I think it's your 68.75. I think it should be more like 58. The last bullish reading, all of the low support is 58. So I don't, I'm not really, nor did I ever think, especially when all that stuff went on a few weeks ago, that would be anything but probably mark a short-term top. But, all right, so be it. I don't think the stocks are good plays, except for we're just really swinging through a lot of individual stocks. But look, Valero, talk about other stocks, trending stocks that I'm not, it's a little late for this, but it proves again everything I've been saying on Valero for the last 3 to 4 months. What's the uptrend? I mean, clearly, the last 10, 15 years, you want to be buying low end of the channel on this type of a asset, trending like real clear. And then we have a bullish pattern right at 107. And that was not more than, what was that? That was mid-April. We were talking about that. Valero. Now 147, and the trend channel continues. But this is why we're coming into this market. We got to get through all the resistance and then really break out. But when you guys give me certain markets that are not trending, they're 70 to 90% off their all-time highs, and they're just going sideways at new lows. You're not going to get much. But with stuff like this, you go up, you have a retracement move, you do the next thrust. And that's what's going on here. No, BTC is not going to go yet. Let's do one or two more, and I'll get over there. Recursion, what's up, Justin? RX. I mean, maybe just because they probably have a bunch of convertible NVIDIA holdings. Who knows? But, yeah, I mean, here's another great pattern. $4. This is the NVIDIA Recursion Pharmaceutical spinoff. We've got patterns. And that's a great type 2 bat down here for, I would just say $4. 4 to 5 generally. But you're going to be on that for a long time. Long time. It might be worth the shot. But you can't really expect this whole range to get broken out. I'm going to say it's like this. You just go back the last several years. That's like 12, 13 on the top side. And then down here, you're not even above the 4-year low, 3-year low. You need to get above that. But I'm more about the Broadcom, the NVIDIA style, Valero, really great trends, and just keep going with it. Grace, no, I'm not. Again, KHC, we talked about that last time. It's not a bad idea in terms of a low beta stock play, but we're not trending here. And again, I want you guys to shift into solid company assets, companies as assets, but they got to have the trend. There's the 6 year Kraft Heinz, whatever. It's really not going anywhere. You might as well go S&P 500. You got to. BT. I know what I'm going to see here. I know it. I know it's going to be a pop. It's 378. It's a big weekly pattern. I see it at $4. But we've been here before. So my question to BT holders, because I haven't really been I've been calling this dead money as well. Um, for this move, I think 444 is probably it. A lot like what we had back there when we went from 226, that was to 512, but probably by 382, you start thinking about cutting it out. In the same here, 444, maybe above $5 on that move should be about it. And this is something where I think people get too hyped up on it. You get a move and be like, okay, this is the start of it. This is the start of the move to 20 or to 100. And it just pops up, rolls back down. I mean, you need to do a kind of a serious violation of the resistance first. And all of that's $5.50 or $6. That's it. A couple more. I'm not ready to jump to Bitcoin just yet. I mean, Bitcoin, and I'm happy to spend my time on Bitcoin, but I don't know. I want to be within the framework, have to lay out those that are in the right position and go from there. Lows, LOW, another one where this is like Nike. It's a beautiful pattern. Check this out. I mean, normally, yeah, I would say be looking down here. Your 223 XA level, and you do have a perfect type 2. So for that, this is pretty significant, but no confirmation yet. Maybe retest 210 one more time. The weekly, though, looks like it looks pretty good. Even though you have the 1-2 bat pattern, that's done, but that might be it for this whole pattern. And yeah, I would, you can still say that this is an uptrend channel. It's not the nicest, but you got that, and you just look at it within this kind of assumption. We haven't done much in the last 3 or 4 years, but this is not a bad spot to be looking. It's like 220, 210-ish. But there are others. I would say if you're going to go retail, McDonald's. I mean, McDonald's is just, this is a crazy channel. And this is, I mean, look at that. Every time we bang the lower end of that channel, that's an uptrend, guys. That's an uptrend that has a momentum to it, has a particular wavelength that will just continue and continue as long as, the current conditions persist, minus any kind of massive black swan casualty. McDonald's will continue like that. So just hit it on the down low, the lower range of the channel, and expect this to continue to zigzag higher. There are better assets, but that's the whole principle of what I'm talking about. Really, to find the best candidates for the next 6 to 18 months, we want stuff like this. It does look, it's a great comment. He's Mr. Casas saying it looks parabolic on the monthly. It sure does, but it looked parabolic on the monthly way back in, you go back, oh, it looks parabolic on the monthly. That's 2016, 17. Wow, 18 keeps going up. Oh, that's parabolic. And it just keeps going. It just keeps going. I mean, there aren't many of them. You know, there's a few dozen stocks that will trade like this long term. IBM will give you that, and you're going to have fluctuations. But again, this is the thought for what are the ones we want to be involved with that are on a real proven path. I mean, here's IBM. We are at the top end of the channel, no doubt. Okay, we were even back in April. You know, it's been a while. It didn't really hit it. April really didn't do much to IBM, but we've had those instances. Okay, where you know that IBM is a forever type stock, and every time you sell off here or here or here, you're thinking, you know, buy it for the continuation move. And that's what's happening. Again, how does that relate to today's stuff? Well, we could look at, you know, something like an Nvidia, which is doing this, or a Broadcom, or, you know, JP Morgan even. IBM's doing it versus, do I do that, or do I do like I don't know, a Lucid? You know, do I do Lucid here of EV manufacturer with a chart that looks like that? You might be looking left and say, oh, I'm at $2 and it was 52. If we get a recovery, that could bounce a lot. And again, basically looking left when your trend is all straight down is, you know, not going to help you. Really important. I mean, really, I think that type of selection over the next few months is going to be critical to not only the end of the year, but into next year of, you know, when I think next year is going to be ripping. Let's go to NASDAQ quickly. Looking on the 5-minute, we haven't moved. I think we moved 20 points. Yeah, we're right back down. We haven't moved 20. We've moved maybe 20 points. Huh. Do I use a stock scanner or day trade? I do both. But I'm usually maintaining a list. The question was, do I use a stock screener? I'll set price alerts, and I'll keep a list. Let's go to Bitcoin quickly, guys. So this is a big deal within the context of this shark pattern that completed back in, what was that, May? So yesterday we got the dot, which is our bearish confirmation. So in effect today, for the whole pattern to be assessed as an opportunity with confirmation, started last night. The open bar trigger, just so you know, 109,217. Okay, that's a critical level. Critical, 109,217. So the daily high today, 109,255. That's big. That's as close as you can get for a daily signal, where today would be the retest of that yellow dot, and it's all focused right here. I mean, literally right here. We had the HSI overbought arrow. Great, you checked it back. You're not even able to get any higher than the zone. You're stuck in the zone here. I'm still of this opinion. I know we're up here at 108, 109. And I think starting today, what do we want to look for? Okay, one of two things. If we're going to go straight off the pattern and say that's a type 1, now with confirmation, and now that retested that 109,217 number, it's a big number, just, you know, call it 109,220 or 109,2, whatever you want, however you want to think of it. It's really critical, 109,2-ish. That should be it. Here, there's your inflection, there's your divergence. And start looking for this to roll over. I would say by Thursday when we're here it'll be clear. You know, you have a close under 107.5, then you're going to spend several more weeks consolidating, at least back to these levels, 102. Okay, it's there. It's there. I would even think that we could start the count over. We could start this whole count now that we have confirmation. We could start it from there, or we could start it from the dot, and we could say go to the end of the month. Since the bearish HSI was right there, so this takes us into early August. Yeah, that's BTC. And I would love to see 93.2 as an ideal Shark to 5.0 continuation on Bitcoin. Go from target 1, type 1 to target 1, and then get some kind of oversold yellow dot down here, and then do the 5.0 continuation from there. It's definitely acting in an irregular fashion where we're 40 bars from the original completion. But notice we haven't been higher since that pattern completed. We have been lower every day since they hit that top end. And now with confirmation and the retest, okay, I think you want to start looking. I think if this goes 107, 106.5, then you're probably rolling over. It's definitely not blowing through. Think of it this way. We're up here, all-time new highs. You know, there's the first one and the second one, and so you're there. If it was really strong, it would blow through that. I mean, it would just, we would be above 115 already. Instead, we're 40 days on this test. You're going to need something to spring it. That's just, you're going to need something to snap it down to snap it back up. Is there a good list of rules or guidelines to day trade stocks for beginners? For day trading stocks, I think you got to have a really clear idea of what you want your signals to be, in terms of what time frame you want your signals to be. Are you acting off of an hourly or a 5-minute? I mean, if you're on a 5-minute time frame, you're day trading for the most part. I mean, something like Nvidia comes to mind. You know, Nvidia, go to a 5-minute time frame. You know, here's the last 2 days. Stick with the most liquid markets, but you know, HSI dots and patterns, you're not going to get them every day. But I'm more with the day trading. I'm more of identifying things top down, like Nvidia top down, all-time new high is there above 160, and waiting for pullbacks on like 5-minute charts like that, and buy and catch the next run. There's a bunch. How do you get the 30-day test? Email. Here you go. Email HPC at SR-analyst. Look, it's like this. Go here. Sorry, a couple questions on where to get the software. Because that's why we do it this way. Because if you're willing to take a look at the patterns and see what's going on there, like if you're really trading deep-tailed, you know, serious game plan of like where levels are defining what you do, which is what they should be doing, then you got to be looking at this stuff. HSI and Amplified are extremely helpful, but I think going with overall patterns with the confirmation signals is best. Yeah, there you go. I mean, this isn't really a great example. This is Nvidia on a 30-second time frame, okay, because you want a larger price scale, but this still did the type 1, type 2, and that's what you're looking for, but with confirmation. But this is the framework we're looking for. And I favor the type 2s. Like, let it do the type 1, come back, and then give me the type 2, because then I know I've got the larger price possibility, price target advantage. I don't know. Let me do a couple more. Greg, come on. You already got that, right? You're set up, Greg. A couple more. GitLab for Justin. GitLab is another recovery, right? Hold on. Go to the weekly here. GitLab, and there's a couple of Toast. I think Shopify. They're all down here like this. I like GitLab. It doesn't. We should have a dot. Hold on. Where's the? It should be a dot there. Did we retest? What's the low? 39.82. The low was 39.82. So there should be a dot forming literally right there. I'll have to see what up, but okay. I mean, that's an amazing chart. It's just another one where if you're at 46 trying to get long and it goes back to 42, don't be surprised, because I still think it needs a few more weeks to get to do something serious. Yeah, I mean, look, even on the daily, 42 is the number. Justin, bring that up next week. Here's the other one, Toast. This one has been moving lately. Oh, yeah. But it had the IPO cry. There's the IPO. Came all the way back down. Now roaring back. Where's my, like everything, it had a pattern in March, April. Yeah, it's a shark to 5.0 at the moment. Nothing here yet, but currently it's a bearish shark. There's others. The story on BTBT is that they're going to go buy a bunch of Ethereum instead of Bitcoin. I don't know. The dot should be there. It should have been there. Yeah, Red. I agree with that. That last example. Couple more. MicroStrategy. What's that doing? Stuck between 400. The last two dots, bearish dot at 390, bullish dot at 365. So we're at the bearish. Just let that come back down. Dailies like that. That's a better. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. Here's MicroStrategy. There's the big 1618 correction. Nothing can really be anticipated until you break out of here or even that, which you did. First thrust, come back. That's critical. This 370. And then where's the line with the dot? It's like 386. I would want to pay close attention to this. This is a high level continuation for HSI, where from here, watch HSI and watch Amplified. Like, we want to see that thing turn up. What's the low end? I don't expect that back much under 385. And you're waiting for the full retest. The all-time high was the all-time 1618. All the way back here, go back 20 years. It's like this. There you go. It's already on the chart. There's MicroStrategy's chart. All-time 1618 was exactly like 540-ish, 542. 545 was the high, all the way back down. 618, 50%-ish. That was the type 1. Go back and retest. I say that because you're looking for signs like this for the daily continuation. So washed out here. That's the retracement. Come on back for the full retest. But that's a continuation dot. So MicroStrategy, we're only a few days away. Okay, we're day what? 6, 7 since that triggered. So again, I would be looking at MicroStrategy to start to do a move. And earnings coming in Tuesday, August 5th. Yeah. Well, at least someone's buying Ethereum. I don't know. They might be getting Ethereum on the cheap. Nico, yeah, you wanted Wolf, and I'm good on that. Wolf is like this. And maybe I'm missing the miners. I don't know. I'll look at them. TerraWolf. What was that? The 26th of June with that dot? That was pretty big. Weekly. All right. There's TerraWolf. I mean, can we get back to 6? Maybe. The 1-2 off the crab already did what it needed to do, but there's the all-time chart. And this is a lot of them where we've just up until the last week or two we have not done much, guys. This was $3.54 for a long time. And these may go, but you're going to have to be in it for a while. I mean, it's a year or more. I mean, to get that above 750 or $8, Bitcoin needs to be back above 115, 120 to get those going. And let's see if this is just a one-off. I don't know. We did BBAI. There's around $8 already. What's KER, Red? I don't really have anything there. Curing? No, I don't have that. I can look at Ethereum, guys. I mean, really quick. It's, again, narrative versus framework. 2608, okay, we're hearing that. We've been hearing that everyone's super bullish on Ethereum, and I bring up the whole Trump thing at 2750. Trump is saying, yeah, buy Ethereum, or the sun was, and went from 27 down to 14. And again, that's like big narrative, almost telling you the opposite. For me to get back into Ethereum, all right, I just I'm bouncing around today, but I think it's important to just talk about it because you get the strong narrative, but then you look at the chart and be like, okay, I'm not seeing that. And Ethereum's down here. Yes, if that's a shakeout, then this has to hold. This trend line all the way back from 2022, that has to hold. This has to be an absolute aberration. And I would say actually you don't go under 2150 again. You really have to hold it that tight. That's the weekly, the daily. Remember, there are patterns here. It's tough to see, but the 1-2 we had that type 1 there on Ethereum 2850, and then this real crazy irregular type 2, big washout. I mean, something went on to take it down to that level. And then Ethereum here, I mean, talk to me above 2850, guys. It is technically a type 2. This one bar thing isn't, it's really not what I would expect. It's not really a clean type 1, type 2. Even if this was the type 1, okay, the fact that you got up to there 2850 and rejected, obviously that's important. 2880 was the high, and he threw down, and you did scoop that XA retest, 2365. But you're ways from this really doing anything, I guess. No, I don't know. What's up, Greg? Yeah, IREN. I totally missed IREN. I mean, I was looking for IREN to go from 6 or from 10 to, yeah, I was looking for this. This is IREN. I was looking for that to go from 11 to 6. it went to 18. And that's okay, but it is one of the ones where I said, okay, maybe I need to look at these differently. I mean, it's only one stock, not unless I knew something specific down here, I would think you're chasing, but okay, if that's the case for this, then what else is happening or what else am I overlooking? Like is Mara finally going to put in a bid? Some patterns here, but it makes me wonder. Or you got Hut or Hive. We've looked at those. Clean Spark, guys. Clean Spark's the other one, but again, we haven't really smashed through the breakout yet. It's possible, but not yet. Is Circle too far gone? That's another tough one. I mean, there was a short-term position. Is this thing coming back now? It's 4-hour dot-ish. It's fairly volatile down here. I got to say that. Weekly. Sorry, there's the 1 hour. Maybe back down here at like 184-ish, but I would be monitoring it because I do like the uptrend since the IPO has been pretty strong. As long as you maintain this is Circle, guys. Just keep going, ride that. There are a lot of interesting plays, no doubt. I mentioned this yesterday to my crew, and other things that we should focus on with what we look at. Really looking at going after the trending stocks. I told you guys about some of the quantum stuff. I know I showed this again, so just to kind of keep it fresh. Look, IONQ is one of the major quantum stocks. All right, we brought this up at target 1 at 37 because there was the completion of the T1. It hit the level, you got a dot, and you little perfect retest. And we've been talking about 49 retest target. If it can do bigger things from there, great. But this is an example of getting on kind of a hot sector. Definitely late. I mean, look, this thing was $20 back in April. So, and then a year ago, what's that? A year ago, August? Yeah, a year ago, August, that was 7. So you got to keep that in mind. You're buying 37, looking for 49, and it was 7 a year ago. So this has already done major things. If it's going to do bigger things, well, blow through that. But for now, target 49. And there's others like this, I mean, that are trending like this that I'm looking at. HIMS is the other one. Okay, HIMS is, just an amazing stock where we were $10 a year or so ago. Go to 60, all the way back to 25. Go to 65, back to 4. I mean, it's definitely moving. I would say go to the 4-hour time frame. Look for stuff like this. Okay, look for 4-hour oversolds or hourly bat pattern on HIMS. Right there. It's somewhere around $40, $41. So my point, these give you plenty of opportunities to get back into them. Joby Aviation, this is another one. I think it's like an Archer Aviation. Now we're at the top end of the zone. I mean, this has really gotten away. But remember that bat pattern from April. Now got a crab. I think they could go to 1277. But my point is these are moving. There are a lot of these that have yet to move that are probably in a good spot at the moment. Yeah, Rigetti. We talked about that for a while, and it started to catch a bid today at the dot for the return move from 11 to 13-ish, and you're there. Where's the 4-hour? Like that. So let's see. Qubits, QBTS. Well, here's QUBT. There's quantum computing. I think that's another one. taking its time, but that should continue. You just can't expect it all to happen quickly. There's qubits, all of the dots down there. Wasn't this at 15 bucks? Yeah, 1450 to 1550. It's that bat pattern on the hourly. Yeah, we'll get there. You're looking for the breakout. You're not looking for 16. I'm looking for 21, 23. But I still say go with an NVIDIA over a qubits every day. What about Oscar? OSCR? Oscar Health? What's that look like? Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, just wait for the next look. Oscar Health. Here's another great one, okay? Real nice post IPO. Was 22, now 16. Where are the obvious levels? Some dots down here at 1450. Gartley 1550. So that's your zone. And you're looking for that to go back to 22, 25. But you're not at the low end yet. Wait for the low end. I see what you're getting at. Just wait for the low end. Here's another one that continues to crawl its way up is Reddit. And I'm looking at Reddit to do something like this. I brought this up last time. Definitely has rolled over since last week, but I want to see this thing back off the bat, then get oversold like down here like 132 for the continuation move. There's a bunch of these setting up like that. Palantir is the other one. Palantir big shark pattern. Once there's no confirmation, so this might be wanting to blow it through. Once we get past that shark, everybody, it's gone. I mean, this is that kind of a company. And even on the weekly, there's really nothing poking out that says, hey, I got to worry about anything just yet. I mean, Palantir, ever since it did the post IPO recovery, remember this went crazy, came all the way back down. It's been straight up, and again, that is the call. Palantir has been in an extreme harmonic expansion since violating the 1618 at 70 bucks. So where are you? Your 350, your 3618 is 150. I think that's possible, and then we'll see. That's trending. So how do you play that? Well, give me an hourly. Give me a 4 hour, something like this. Here's a couple of signals for the first time at 136. Yeah, it went to 129 and then right back. But that's what you're targeting. You're targeting stuff like here and here with these kind of trending stocks. There's not a lot of them. A couple more. We did RX recursion. Marvel, that's right in the semis. And again, the semis are leading this. The semis, when you hear the semiconductors go to all-time new highs, that's when things should really start to go bonkers. So, yeah, I mean, look, Palantir Silver Whiskey still has plenty of time. I mean, you're thinking about, with Palantir, it's like 300 billion. That should be a $500 billion company. Someday a trillion. So a double or triple from current levels is not crazy. But wait for the pullbacks. There's Marvel. I think there's better. Marvel was a perfect type 2, Gartley, whatever. But again, give me NVIDIA over Marvel any day of the week. I'll take NVIDIA at 160 versus Marvel at 72. But the semis are key. And we keep watching what they do, get up to all-time new highs. I think that's what runs it for the rest of the month. DJT, the Trump or the transportation? Because now that's always an overlap. DJT is at 19. This is the Trump group. All right. It's just another one where, yeah, maybe you get a speculative bounce to 32. but it's not trending. I like it as a pattern and a setup, guys, but it goes against my whole trending thesis that you guys want to be trending in trending markets. A few more. What's up? Mr. Magic wants to look at Baidu. I think the Baidu is another one right around the corner. Baidu and Baba. Baidu at 90. Under 90 is probably a steal. You have patterns down there. You've got confirmation 83, 84. Baba is, I don't think it spends much time under 100 again. 108. Get it back down. Get it to like 100 even. But these are going to end. They've already ended the consolidation. I mean, look at Baba here. All right. Baba's like that. So what's the assumption? No matter what, I mean, it's not the prettiest chart, but this has made progress. You know, it's not like this is sitting at the low, like there or there. We made a thrust, made a higher low, made a second thrust into new high territory. That's big. Tertiary higher low. So I'd be looking at this 103 on Baba. That's really close. Really close on Baba. You're still looking for 207. Yeah. One or two more on that. Yeah, I got that. One or two on the crypto Tron for incredible. We're not going to do much until, I mean, that's a beautiful chart. Tron's great. I've said that. I admire that steady uptrend since 2022. If all of crypto was strong, your trends would be like this, but they're not. And I'll bring up XLM. And that just continues to, sideways here at 25. Will it ever, there you go, off the butterfly here. Will we ever get going off of here? I mean, when? Because maybe you have a higher low for the first time on stellar lumens, but while the stock market's raging, this has been down for 6 months, 7 months. So keep an eye on that. Again, these are the big ones. People always ask XRP and Solana, what's happening with there? Maybe that does bust out. Can we bust out? Stellar, here's XRP. I don't know. If I was holding XRP with zero development like that, I'd be worried. I hope I'm wrong. Like, I really hope I'm wrong, and I hope what happens is that we finally do this kind of a thing where we break out, and it doesn't look like that, and then we just go from there, and we start a new climb, or this is even better. You should be something like this, and then go. But I'll wait until we're out here. I'll wait till we're a couple months to the right of that downtrend. I'll wait for that or even that in development. It's not going to just bust straight up. Again, everyone's caught in what happened last year. Huge move, but then you came back. It was a 50% retracement. That's the only thing XRP can be doing. If it does that, bravo. Beyond that, I got to wait and see. If you're looking to get in on that, you're going to have to wait. Guys, you need Bitcoin to move. You need it to move. You need Bitcoin to get out of the way here and attract more money to allocate to these other coins. Until then, it's just a trickle into Bitcoin. It'll steady, but it's just Bitcoin's going to grab the lion's share. And the Bitcoin dominance chart has been full on. That's a weekly chart on Bitcoin dominance. Now 65%. I don't think there's anything stopping that. Right now, you go to the 886 is there. and that's 70%. That's 70%. So, we have a couple of arrows that have been generated where this should have rolled over by now, but no. So, this continues. Nothing really changes. I'm still favoring Bitcoin and then all other crypto. I'll keep on looking at it. But do we have anything that would really set it off like stocks are moving? No. Definitely not. Yeah. We did Rigetti, and that's holding the yellow dot trigger at 11. Now 13. Stay with it. I mean, it has to break out too. You're looking for Rigetti to go to like 17. As far as Nvidia's huge market cap, it doesn't matter because it's going to just soak it up in terms of, being in the QQQ, being in the SOX ETF, the rich get richer kind of a thing. It's an allocation cycle. And it's going to stick with winners. All right, let that be the last one. Ethereum BTC. What's that like? Yeah. Okay. Ethereum BTC as being something for alt season or a way to read this in terms of when are the rest of the coins going to run. I'm not there. Yeah. Let me punch this in like this. There you go. We do have a pattern. All right, that suggests that this should be turning around sometime soon. But look what happened. We just printed another bearish counter signal. So that's not ready yet. That's not ready yet. So the thesis is if Ethereum to Bitcoin ratio, even on the monthly, has a big pattern. I know several people have said this to me. Shouldn't then the altcoins really start to turn around? Not until we can get above some levels. And one of them is getting out of the monthly on amplified like that. It's probably, you don't even look at it until we finish the month. That's a monthly chart. It's a big deal. I get it. But we're still early. And it has to be above 2.44. I don't think it'll go to the hop level. It's more about it's more about how long are you going to stay under that downtrend. I think somewhere around 2 cents it holds here because there's a lot of static all-time support. But too many people are looking for this thing to turn up for the rest of crypto to go. And it's not. I mean, somebody said, look at Doge. And just to be annoying, okay, this still has 30-something billion. There's the daily on Doge. It's got a pattern. We're going sideways. Yeah, we did 14.5. It's not bad for a pattern, but I don't think it goes. Maybe it goes from 17 to 20 and then back down again. And then you're in between 15 and 20 for the next 6 months. How would you like that? When Nvidia goes to 190. Do I have time for the dots and arrows? Let's bring that back next time. I mean, Silver Whiskey's asking about how do we read the dots. I mean, it's when you get the software. So if you haven't gotten the software, Whiskey, send me a note on Discord. DM me. I'll send you the exact. I include a bunch of short videos. So get with that. Send the TradingView username to there. Okay, HPC at sr-analyst.com, and then connect with the Discord on that link. But the way that, the 30-second kind of review, refresher, is that we always expect a type 1. That worked perfectly. T1 to T1 $, that's the reaction. Yes, it's tradable. I prefer having a confirmation there to trade it, but didn't. But on the retest, there you go. Perfect retest. Now, where does this go? Like, there's the dot. That's mandatory. And so I start looking to the right. So the trade isn't even really a trade until the bar after that dot. And you're looking in this zone. All right. Is it a type 1 or type 2? That's a type 2. So the assumption is I'm looking immediately after the dot and I'm looking for it to go to T2 and do that within 30 bars. That's it in a nutshell. Now there's other things and I go through them in these sessions, but you get with the software to work through that. But that is the framework in a nutshell. Of course, things can take extra time, but for Doge, it's a nice setup. It really should do something and complete that move by the 23rd of July. If it doesn't and we're just go sideways and can't really get off that low, then scratch it out. But crypto has not done much. It just really surprised. Here's the other one. All right, and then I'm going to get out of here. SUI, USD. Everyone loved this all year. It was a shark up here, went to the 5.0 at 290, gave us a crab at 238. So we're still looking for even this to go 1 and 2. But for all the talk that this had since the beginning of the year, look what it did. It had a huge run up from last year, 60 to $5, but then all the way back down. So is this for real or is this going to roll over? That's my problem with a lot of these. They're not. They do their run, they come back, and then they just get stuck. And this has to happen. Like SUI has to come back to 230, 240 before I look at it. Meanwhile, stocks have just been raging in this time. That's the comparative issue that I have. And this could still go on. Where SUI could go back down. Yes, it maybe is a great long-term crypto play down here at $2. But the next 60, 90 days is going to take that time to get down there. Thank you, Foundation. Appreciate that. Yeah, no, I want to be in the right spot with all of this, all the markets. And I just called it, said it for a while. Crypto's not. Stocks are. Other stocks continue to put themselves in the right position. And I'll stick with the semiconductors and I'll stick with other select issues. And if crypto wants to do a move on the miners, okay, I'll give it more love. But it's still in a show me stage. A lot to get to. I mean, look, it's going to be kind of chill, I think, for the next few weeks. We drift higher. We're not going to have rager days, but, it's still an overall bullish bias, and we hope we get a market top in a few weeks and then let that retrace. Set up for the bigger move for the end of the year. It would be beautiful. And the targets are much higher. So, folks, get with the program. Get the TradingView HPC program. Send your username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. Everyone else, the basic sign-up page is right here at harmonictrader.com. And then just go through all those resources. Okay, if you DM me, I give you the recording from the 20th. And you can get the other recordings on the Discord. All right, appreciate you guys. I'll be back on Thursday. That's what I have for today. Go enjoy the rest of your day. And until then, as always,